Hey, yo, what's up? This is Cypher Marshall Occurrence Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, and everybody with him, yo. So, this video is gonna be about the shocks that's in the future. When we look at history, we look at World War One, Two, all different things that happened throughout history. Some would even say slavery was a shock. You know, uh, things that happened throughout history were all shocking to the humanity that experienced it. Just like everything that happened with the Native Americans, that was a shock to them. And so, you know, history is full of shocks, and it's a shock, a real big shock is long overdue for the American community. And I feel sorry for ethnicities that's like the Hispanic and Latinos, because just when it may seem like you guys have gotten to a nice place here in America. I know you've been here for decades, so I'm not being funny when I say that. But you got to a nice cultural spot, but it's just time for something shocking to happen. Real big and shocking. Some would say that's COVID. Yeah, I would say one of those shocking things are COVID. But because, obviously it's worldwide, it's still going on. You got 3,000 killings a week now. Um, 3,000 deaths, you know. But I still believe something else more shocking is going to happen, and through history, we see this always happens over and over again. Through history, it happens over and over again. And the shocking events is no respect of persons or times. It's no respect of families and dreams and things that people want to do in life. It's no respect of that. And what's going to be so funny is that because America has been so together, for so long, when shocking things happen, people are not. They're gonna. The entitlement is first gonna kick in. Somebody needs to do something about this. The government needs to do something about this. That's what you're talking about now. Like they gonna do something with me. How they gonna do something with me? You know what I'm saying? Like entitlement's the first thing that's gonna kick in for the Americans. Someone needs to stop this. Someone needs to do something about this. The shocking stuff is going to continue to happen. Long as you got the gang stalkers and the witches and warlocks and the people outside my building, like they don't think I know they down there. As long as you got ignorant folks like that, as far as my situation, judgment is going to continue to come. See, what my enemies don't know is I'm nationwide. So I'm bigger than you perceive me to be. I've lived coast to coast. I'm nationwide. My energy has been all across the country. My energy has been from New York to Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? So, that's me. I've lived in Los Angeles. Now, you got to speak for yourself. And so, there's repercussions, man. There's shocking things that's going to happen. And by the way, that spiritual um, living that I did on the West Coast too. So there, I have spiritual works over there too, which is not good for my enemies. It's not good for me to have spiritual works on the East Coast and the West Coast. Not good for you. So here we are, man. In this little place, intermission after COVID slammed the country 3 years ago. And we still have 3,000 deaths a week. Still 3,000 deaths a week. So, people are still dying, and a lot of people are not aware of it because, the mass mandates have lifted, and certain things, certain protocols of COVID is lifted, and for most spanned mind people that don't have attention deficits, ADD people, they're focused on something else. But I'm still looking at the fact that COVID hasn't gone away. It hasn't totally gone away, and there's more strains that's popping up every other 4 months. So, you put two together, man. It's just not going away. But excuse me. This video is more about just that there's going to be some shocking things in the future. There's going to be very shocking things in the future. And it's nothing that America can do to safeguard themselves against shocking events. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen tonight. It can happen while I'm making this video. There's going to be some shocking things that's going to happen. And it needs to happen because it's too much evil. And when evil happens, there needs to be a rain. A rain needs to come and wash the evil away. And this is what many people don't want to accept, that there is a storm that's coming to wash the evil away. It has to happen. It's how the God has set up the world. A storm comes and it washes the evil away. And because, many people have not responded properly in this country to COVID-19. They didn't get a better heart. They didn't get a better soul. They just became more evil. Many people became more evil. And I would just say that exposed the weak people in our community. If you became more evil during COVID, that just shows how weak you are. You know what I'm saying? People that had love and had compassion and was aware of the killings, that the deaths that was around them, and all the killing that was around them too. God will reward you if you really are a Christian. But all the killing and all the crazy stuff that people continue to do during COVID, God is looking at that too. And so there's another storm that's coming, unfortunately. Like they say, when it rains, it pours. There's another storm that's coming. And it's COVID is not the end. Because, and the reason why I know it's not the end is because it's how people acted during COVID. It's like, that's the thing. It's how they acted during COVID. They were evil. They were punching Asians around. They were doing a lot of stuff that, showed their real true colors, man. So, there's another storm that's coming to wash the evil away. The Americans got more bitter because of COVID. When they realized God plagued them, they got more bitter. They used more witchcraft. They joined more cults and secret societies because they was bitter that it happened to them and they lost their country. So there's another storm coming because of those things. There's another storm definitely coming. You could be very sure about that. So that's going to be some shocking events. But there's more shocking events that's going to happen. I'm talking about on a bigger scale, like something super, super, super life-changing for America, for the world. There's going to be some super, 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 super life-changing stuff that we did not expect. It's like it's due. The world is due for it, and I think part of it is going to be karma to wash away the evil in the world, and some of it is just going to be the will of men to do. just how men are, to do evil, to do what they want to do. And it's just going to be very shocking, super shocking events that's going to happen to this country and to this world. It's just due for it. It's just time for it. It's just time for a storm to wash away the evil. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes evil to wash away evil. You know, it takes something evil to happen to the community and to the people to wash away the evil of men. You know, and it's like fire with fire, I guess you could say. But either way it goes, something is going to happen, and it's just going to change the course of everything, you know. And it's not going to be a respecter of technology and plans and goals and structures of communities or any of that. That's what America has to keep in mind. It's not going to respect structures of your society, your technologies, your way of life, you know, how you go about your routines every day, your daily routines, none of that. You know, and it's just due the work. I mean, this country, and I can definitely speak for this country, is just due for it. It's just due for it, man, because they just sit back arrogantly and just do as they want, and it's just time for that to be washed away. You know, that whole mentality to be washed away. And sometimes it takes a great storm to bring a great humbling effect. And God is a master at making people say uncle. He'll make you say uncle. Trust and believe that. God has a way of making you say uncle, buddy. And so since COVID didn't make him say uncle, something else is coming. Something else is coming. And what's coming next is going to make all these arrogant gang stalkers and all these arrogant chicken eating politicking people, it's going to make all of them say uncle. I promise you that. It's going to take away your Disneyland, your all that, the carnival perspective that you have of America. Like, you're just entitled to this, you're entitled to that. It's going to take all that Karen out of you, all that Shanae out of you. Shanae is the black version of Karen. So it's gonna take the Shanae out of you, the Karen out of you, and you're gonna be left humbled. You're gonna have a big old slice of humble pie. It's just time for it. You can feel it. That's what needs to happen. Nothing else needs to happen. They don't need nothing really good to happen to them as a community. America does not need something good to happen. Look at it for what it is. So if something good happens to them, what do they do next? They're more arrogant. They're still going to be killing each other. They're still going to be doing evil to each other. They're still going to be gang stalking. The president's still going to be who he is. You know, the White House is going to be what it is. Politics what it is, and police what they are. So in the streets what they are. So, you know, and so it just I can just see that it's a need for a great storm, not just not something good to happen to them. That's not the answer. And see, now we're going to start getting answers, real answers, not the answers that you Christians want, where you praying for blessings and you're praying for things. We're going to get the real answers to fix all of this foolishness. These people pushing people on trains, all of that. We need some real answers. And they're coming. They're going to come. The real answers is about to come. And the real answers is not people getting more wealth, getting more money. Look at it. Can't you feel it in the air? Can't you feel it? It's time for real answers. And unfortunately, it's going to take some shocking things to happen in order to humble the Americans. It's going to take some shocking, real bad, shocking things. And many people are going to become bitter from it. And they're going to wax worse in their evil and in their bitterness. But it's necessary. It's necessary for the whole community. And it's just the answer, because now the killing is out of control. People are killing their own children. So you can't, particularly here in America, you can't look to uh, this society as a beacon of truth when it comes to protecting children anymore, because like people are even killing their own children. So what do you say to a society like that? You know what I mean? It's like they're killing their own children. Okay, so what do you say in that case? So what's going to happen is, man, I believe it's going to be a great storm that's going to come. It's going to affect the entire community. It's going to affect all walks of life here. Because the spiritual world works in answers. It works with giving answers. It doesn't work with giving us what we think we need. When I look at your society, you do not need more money. You do not need more wealth. You do not need more material things. You need a storm. You need a storm to wash away the evil. You need a storm to humble the wicked people that kill their own children. You need a storm to move this mentality out of your community. And so the universe works like that. I'm not going to say the universe, God in his kingdom works like that. God gives you what you need, not what you want. And right now, your country doesn't need more material things. It needs a cleansing, a storm cleansing. And you thought it was COVID. Many of you thought it was COVID, but it ain't. COVID was the introduction, if you will. COVID is the introduction. COVID is the introduction. That's a 7 album out. COVID is the introduction to the cleansing that you need as a community. Okay? It's going to get a lot worse. Because you don't need more goods. You don't need more stuff. You don't need more nothing. You don't need to be entertained more. You don't need another restaurant. You don't need nothing. You need judgment. Okay? Your country needs judgment. America needs judgment. It needs a cleansing to cleanse the evil, whether you like it or not. Whether you're a celebrity or not, whether you're famous or not, America needs a cleansing. Okay? And you can easily see it. You can see it. If you look in society, I mean, let's just go through all the aspects, all the walks of life. The police is killing people. The American government has child marriage in 43 states. Black people are killing each other and then going and crying about what police are doing, but they're killing each other every day in the ghetto. Parents are killing their own children. Rapists are running around. And, people are pushing people on trains. That's a big trend in New York City, killing them. And COVID-19 is here, and people are still haughty and prideful. There's all kind of ratchet fights in restaurants and on the streets. They're everywhere. There's all kind of ratchetness everywhere. Okay, and so a storm is necessary. COVID-19 was not all that America needs to be humbled. You know, God allowed it to happen, and you did not change your attitude. So this means you need more. You need something more to happen to you than COVID. And you're not going to get a new guitar and a new car. You don't need that. You need to be humbled. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. And that's what God is going to provide. God provides what is necessary. God provides what is needed. That's how he works. If I can see this need, I know God sees the need. And this is the need that the Christians are not going to tell you. These Christians out here in the country, they're not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you, oh, um, God sure needs to send a storm. God sure needs to send this country sure needs a cleansing. You don't hear that kind of preaching, do you? But it's the truth. Because when people start killing their own children, and I'm going to do a video about this too, because many of you haven't come to terms with how often this has been going on. These Americans specifically are now, it's not just mental sickness, it's evil. It's easy to cop out everything on mental sickness. Mental sickness, mental sickness, mental sickness. But I don't think so. I think it's a sidestep and a cop out for many people. I think some people are just evil. They're not mentally sick, they're evil. Okay? They're evil-hearted people. And there's people that's killing their own children that they brought into the world. The last thing I heard was somewhere here in New York where the mother pushed the two kids in the river and the grandmother pulled them out. The grandmother pulled them out, right? And the mother pushed them in the river. The mother, the caretaker, and even when people are mentally sick, let's keep in mind that many times people are still caretakers. With mental sickness. So, I don't buy just always putting stuff off like that on mental sickness. People are evil and they need to be sat down for like a decade. And, a storm needs to happen. A cleansing needs to happen. And I know you have plans. Americans will always have plans. That's a given. Can we establish that? And I'm going to do a video on that too. Americans will always have plans. They will always have. Do you think they're going to stop having plans? Do you think they're going to stop having dreams? Okay, so that's part of American community and society. That's always going to be like that. And the world has to come to an end at some point. At some point, it has to come to an end. And when it does, there will still be people that say, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. There's always going to be dreams and aspirations with the Americans. That is not an indication of the future. The hearts of the people is the indication of the future. The character of the people is the indication of the future. How they think is the indication of the future. What they're doing is the indication of where we're going. Okay? And right now, I'm just being honest with you. Some people don't even deserve another bite of food. They deserve to be sat down somewhere and secluded and isolated from society. Like the rabid animal that they're acting to be. They don't need anything else. They don't need success. They don't need anything else. They need to be sat down, and they need to be made to be sat down. Okay? They need to be cleansed by a storm. And so if I see this, I know God sees this. And if I see that COVID-19 wasn't all that they need, I know God sees it's not all that they need. They need something else to happen to them. Okay? And it's just unfortunate, but look at what's going on. That's unfortunate too. All this killing is unfortunate. All these people trying to kill their own kids is unfortunate. People around here unvaccinated, seeing what COVID do is unfortunate. These politicians not doing nothing but adding problems to the country is unfortunate. Black on black killing kids and is unfortunate. There's a lot of unfortunate things that's going on right now. But unfortunately, there still needs to be a storm that comes. And actually, because of these unfortunate things, that's why the storm needs to come. Okay? So that's what I see that needs to happen. You look to the future for success and hope, maybe for God's people, yes, but not for the outside world, not for the collective nation of America. They need a cleansing. They need a storm to come and rain on them and humble them to the point where they're not, doing the evil that they're doing, whatever it takes, because now it's just cartoonish. It's just cartoonish. That's what it is. It's cartoonish, and people are just doing stuff now. They don't have it's stuff that they don't even have to do that they're doing, and that's an indication right there that there needs to be a cleansing. Okay, when people get to the point where they're doing stuff they don't have to do, okay, that's a cleanse. It's time for a storm. Okay, a serious storm, a life-changing, shocking storm. That's what needs to happen. Okay, because look at it for what it is. People have entertainment, they have food, they have even sex, they have everything. They have marijuana, uh, legal marijuana. They got everything they want, and they're still evil. So there has to come a storm. There has to be a storm that properly comes over the whole entire country, over the national grid, and cleanse this country of its evil. Okay? If you look at the judgments that come from God, it cleanses it cleanses that nation. It washes away the evil. It's time for a true storm to come and cleanse away the evil. That's what it's time for. And you can fight it. You can sit up and act like there's another way. There is no other way. There is no other way because the people are so out of control. The only thing that's going to change them is a storm. That's what's going to change this situation. It's a storm to humble the people. God, we always say this about individuals. God has a way of humbling people. If you get too proud, God will humble you. Okay, then what about the whole nation of America? How proud and haughty they are. God you don't see the guys, you don't feel the need to tell them that God will humble them. Proud and haughty as they are to kill their own children, these gangbangers and thugs and gangsters and everything in between, out here shooting through walls and killing kids, you don't feel the need to tell them that God will humble them? You don't feel the need to tell them that. And that's what I'm saying. I feel the need to tell them that God, they the ones walking around killing people like it ain't nothing. Okay? Pushing people on trains here in New York City like it's nothing. Nah, that right there needs a storm. That right there needs a storm. It's nothing else that's going to do it. These are fully grown men and women, and the only thing that's going to change that is a storm to humble them. These are the proud people for real that need to be humbled. And what's going to humble them is a storm, a storm sufficient for all the whole country. That's what has to happen, which leads to shocking events, which equates to shocking events. That's what needs to happen. Shocking events. That's what needs to happen. Shocking, life changing, nationwide changing events that humbles the people. Okay? When you see all this killing and it's not getting any better, there needs to be a storm. Okay? To humble the people. All right? And so that's where we are. That's where we really are. You know, that's why we have to be careful with who we listen to, because all these preachers out here, they're gonna tell you, they're gonna tell you, blessings are coming, blessings on the way, these victories are coming, all these things are about to happen to you. And anybody can sit and say that. Anybody can talk about that. Anybody, that's nothing. That can pull in views. You say blessings are on the way, your video will get views and views and views. Okay? If you say blessings are on the way, it's going to get views. It's going to get a million views. Okay? You can say that and it's going to get views. Okay? So that's what you got to consider. You know, these people are going, these people are going to be out here saying just what you want to hear. And you have to say, you know what? I don't think that's what God is saying. I think that there's going to be people out here in these last times that I'm going to have to avoid. I can't let them speak into my spirit, because they're just saying, and that's YouTube preachers too. Not all of them, but they're going to be saying stuff that they ain't got no business saying. They're going to be talking according and prophesying out of their flesh. And I need to consider that this is not what God is saying. This is not what God is doing. This is not what God is. This really what are they really hearing from God, or are they low level, low power Christians that have no power, that are talking out their flesh and saying things sometimes even for views, even for a following? And some preachers are saying stuff to keep the congregation. So you got to keep these things in mind. You got to consider these things, right? That these are the things that's going to be said when there's a need, when it's not even real. They're prophesying out of their flesh, and really, a storm is on the way. And you're going to have people that's going to be talking out of term and talking out of their flesh, and the sky is falling. So consider what I'm saying. Consider these things. When I say consider these things, ponder, keep these things in mind, keep in mind that these things are going to happen. In other words, keep in mind these things are going to happen. Look and see. Make sure, watch as these things happen. Pay attention as these things happen. Because many people are going to see, they're talking about the same stuff they've been talking about for the past 10, 20 years, right? And it just brings in the messages. It just brings in the money. It just brings in the attention. But slow down and pay attention to the news. Slow down, and I'm not saying watch the news every day, but slow down and pay attention. Pay attention to all this stuff that's being said. Pay attention to all this stuff that's being done. This reckless stuff. Pay attention to all of that. And and look at how much of it is going on. Anybody with spiritual eyes to see and spiritual ears to hear know that blessings are not on the way. You got 50 states with gay marriage, right? You got 43 states of child marriage, right? Your last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago, a year before COVID, July 1st, 2019, that allows adults to marry children at any age. That is now here. Okay? These are the things that you have to consider. It's on the way. You know, it the storm is on the way. Okay? So don't sit up and just think that everything is just going to be good. By default, everything's going to work out. Well, not sometimes. When people are doing evil all over and over again, nah. You can't you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't live evil and expect good things to happen. That's 7 hour. You can't do evil and expect great, grand things to happen. It doesn't work like that in our world. Some things are going to happen as a result of all of this stuff that people are doing. A storm is going to come and cleanse the evil away. Okay? And there's no other way to put it. It's going to happen. It's going to come. And you have to be ready for it. You can't just sit up and act like, oh, okay, things are just going to go as normal. Things are just going to be like this is always how it has been. Shocking events are going to happen. And unfortunately for America, it's going to happen because they've done so much evil that now they're going to reap what they sow. What they put out in the grass, now they're going to get what they put out. What they put out has grown up to maturity, and now they're going to be force fed all the stuff that they've done. They're going to be force fed all the things that they put out into the spiritual world. They're going to be force fed all that stuff, and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be problems and drama. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to be able to touch God's people because they want to blame us. But like I've taught you in spiritual mathematics, it's you're not the problem. You're not the problem. The problem is these people that do evil. They are the ones that bring bad spiritual mathematics to us. Bad spiritual equations are sum totals from spiritual mathematics. They bring us bad sum totals. Okay? And then they want to point their finger at someone they think has brought this upon them, not considering the evil they've done in their own community. So we're doing what we're supposed to do as spiritual warriors. We're fighting off the stuff that's coming our way. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay? But now the time is coming where, it's time for them to get a storm, a real storm. I'm talking about way worse than COVID. Like some stuff that just cleansed this all away. To shake up all of this stuff that's going on. To where people can't even really do it. That's what needs to happen. And because they ain't gonna change. They ain't gonna change the laws. They ain't gonna change it. They're not gonna change the laws. They're not gonna change the laws to where people get more time for doing crazy crimes. God considers this. That the law system is dragging its feet, not taking, not doing what it's supposed to do. People should be issuing out 20 years for people pushing people on trains, period. That type of individual, no one wants to see in 5 years. You want to see them eat great meals in 5 years after pushing somebody on a train in New York City? So about 20 years would be good. Okay? So, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to pass out those kind of repercussions. So what's going to happen? God is going to send a storm. Justice is not being served by the justice system, and God is going to send a storm. That's a seven hour. God is going to bring a storm because the justice system is not serving its the karma to the community. It's not serving the reaping and sowing process to the community that they deserve. They're part, the justice system is supposed to be part of the karma that people get. It's not doing it anymore. So now a great storm is coming to give all these people who thought they sidestepped the law, that storm, the gang stalkers, they all have to get a storm. Okay? That storm is coming. Okay? And so COVID was not that was the beginning, it was the introduction. But now there has to be greater storms to wash away the gang stalkers, to wash away these crazy politics, these the people that just want to be stuck on stupid, and you know, storms have to come to wash them away. So you can expect big bangs to happen to this country, America. You can expect all types of tragedies to happen, extreme, massive amounts of tragedy affecting millions and millions of people and hundreds of millions of people. You know, it has to happen. You know, this cleansing has to happen. A great storm has to happen. You know, the world is not built for, children. It's built for adults. Adults run the world, okay? And the world isn't even fit. America's not even fit for children anymore. If you want to be really 100, it's not really even fit to have children in. And so that's considered, he considers all things. Okay? This country is not even fit for children anymore. Why you talking about the future? That's the 7 hour. When people are killing their own children. That's, you need to wake up. You want to deny, you want to be in denial about it. But a storm is definitely coming. I'm telling you, a storm is coming. So I hope you're getting ready for it, because it's definitely coming. You can be sad about it, but you gotta look at all the stuff they've been doing. Okay. You don't think nothing's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be sad about what they doing. But half of y'all don't watch the news anymore. And all you want to do is be optimistic and think good things are coming to the future. See, the bad part about you not watching the news is that you don't see the need for the storm that I'm talking about. You don't watch the news anymore, so you just like, well, America's gonna move forward and do good. Nah. Have you watched the news lately? They need a storm. And so if you was watching the news in a healthy, normal way, you would see the need for the storm, not the need for more goods, not the need for blessings and destinies to happen, not the needs for this grand new plans to happen. None of that needs to happen. A storm needs to happen. And see, it takes a mature person to say that. That's what needs to happen. But because you don't watch the news and keep up on what's going on, you tune it out and try to stay positive, thinking that America should have a positive new future, which that is not the answer. It's not the answer. And God is all about the answers. Yes or no? Do you think it's the answer to give America grand new stuff, grand technology, new things, material things? You think that's the answer? Yes or no? You think it's the answer to give America, based on the news, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis? These are day-to-day people all across the country. We consistently see everyday Americans doing evil. Do you think that more technology, more things, more money, more all of this, do you think that's the answer? Do you think God thinks that's the answer? So why would you think that's coming then? Why do you talk about these things coming on videos? What needs to happen is a storm to wash away the evil. That's what needs to happen. Okay? And when you realize that, when you realize this, you would change your whole tune as a Christian and as a minister. You would change your whole tune when you realize your surroundings. And you could say it can change and all of that, but you have to look with discretion. You have to look with discernment and stop acting like, oh well, we could just pray for a miracle. Like you're ordering McDonald's. Like you're ordering a Domino's pizza. Like you're ordering Papa John's. You know, you think you can just order this miracle, and people have free will, and with their free will on a day-to-day basis, these people are killing each other. They're killing their own children. They're killing each other. They're killing other people's children. You know, and they're pushing people on trains. I mean, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And a storm needs to happen. Not give them money, not give them more stimulus checks, not give them more material things. How's that going to help? Is that going to really be the answer? It's not going to be the answer. It's better. I would say, I am my words of what I'm asking for is more closer to the solution. There needs to be a storm. There needs to be a storm to shake up all this proud haughtiness that these young people have in their hearts. This proud haughtiness, walking around like they God's gift to the world. You know, whatever that is in them, you know, that need a storm has to get that out. A storm has to get that out. And with the gang stalkers and all of that going on, and the police looking the other way, a storm has to get this out of our community. A great national storm that affects the whole national grid. That's what has to happen. Okay? And you need to come to terms with it. You know, like I said, and I can't stress it enough. All this material stuff is not the answer. That's not going to be the solution. Okay? And that's all you're talking about. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your culture and pay attention to your society and pay attention to these ministers and preachers and teachers. Material things and destinies is not the answer for the Americans. That's how I know God is not saying all that stuff, because it's not the solution. The solution is a storm to cleanse the people, to humble the people that's killing these innocent people and children. A storm needs to happen. Okay? That's what needs to happen. Not blessings. You've been hungry for money, and some of you are money hungry so much. That's all you're talking about. That's all you're insinuating. And you slow your spirit down, slow your spiritual eyes down and ears down, slow yourself down, and pay attention to what's going on around you. And I guarantee you, you will change your tune and you will realize, man, I have been in the flesh. I have been just going through the motions as a Christian, as a minister, as an American. I have just been going through the motions, just saying all this positive stuff, and I haven't been considering reality. I haven't equated reality into all the stuff I've been saying. And when you equate reality into your analog or dialogue that you have with people, you will realize, man, I mean, none of these things is the answer. What's the answer is a storm. The storm is the answer. A storm is the answer to humble and cleanse the people. Okay? And so if I feel this way, and God for sure is all infinite in wisdom and knowledge and understanding and everything else. He's infinite in all things. I know he understands this. And that's what it's going to take. You've just gotten used to this reckless uh, behavior in your community. And I guess that because you're desensitized to it as an American community, you shake your head and walk away, and you just go about your business. You think that that's what God is doing, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Okay, many people are biased about it. They're biased about all this stuff that's happening, especially when all this killing that's happening in the black community. The black community is biased about it. They're not gonna protest it properly. They're gonna protest police, but they're not gonna protest the killing in their own neighborhoods. So a storm has to happen, right? Okay, and God lets us. He will let us handle things on our own, right? But when we do not no longer handle things properly, a storm is on the way. Okay.